because you will narrate very nicely, and I would like it to go to our candidates. Yeah, start now. Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, sir.
Very good.
So,
You had interview today. You had interview today.
Yes, sir.
With
Yeah,
E.C.G.C.
I'm applying for the post of probationary officer in Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. I had my interview at Kolkata. So basically, my work profile is I've worked for close to 2 years at Infosys as an aerospace engineer, and then I'm currently working as a social security officer in Employees State Insurance Corporation.
Good.
So my interview took around, it was a duration of 20 minutes. So they asked me, initially they tried to mention that, okay, you're from Jamshedpur. Well, yeah, I'm from Jamshedpur, but currently I'm posted from Rajgangpur. So that question, okay, that actually made them think what to ask him. And then, but still they asked about Jamshedpur. But because I started with that Rajgangpur thing, so it took some time for them to frame certain questions. I mentioned what is something about Jamshedpur. I mentioned from where it came, why the name. And then they saw that, okay, you were working for Infosys too. So they tried to grill me, saying that, okay, you came for the job security and comfort. But I tried to counter this by mentioning that I was preparing for government jobs since I was in my final year itself of graduation, as I am an engineer. I was preparing there itself. So they told that, okay, then why did you join Infosys in the first place? So I told that because it was my first experience, I'll carry out any responsibility. So I joined it and tried preparing simultaneously. I mentioned that of this 23 months duration, 7 months was a training period. No, not 7 months, exactly 5 months I was trained, and then I started working as an aerospace engineer. And they asked me that what were you doing in Infosys, because they were planning to they had intended that okay, they will try to frame questions which would walk me down. But because I was prepared for that, so I told them I was from aerospace domain. They told, okay, what were you doing there? And related stuff, I mentioned them. I told them, then they asked me, why did you leave Infosys? I told them that my initial aim to join Infosys was to provide me a stable source of income as well as continue my preparation journey. But then after some time, I was admitted to bench. In the bench period, you are not getting any, you don't get any projects, and you have to look for projects to sustain in Infosys. So I told them it was becoming very difficult because you're benched. You never know when a project call might come. So I could narrate that, and then they asked me what you were doing, so I was able to handle that. Then they asked me about free trade agreements. That's the point where it got a bit dicey. I think I might have messed that up portion of it because they were asking why free trade agreements and stuff is important, or why is it important. They told that whether it is for the benefit of the country and stuff. They're trying to put me into pressure.
Were you aware of free trade agreement? I am not very much clear about
it. Yeah. India, UK. Recently, I read it in the newspaper because you had given me a very good suggestion to follow newspaper, and you won't believe me. Yesterday, the news came out about exports for the month of August. Then one panel also asked me, and I gave him the accurate data. Accurate till the point, because I read it. I told him what the factors were. So they tried to.
I find free trade agreement is a pact between two or more nations to reduce barriers to imports and exports among them. Okay.
So they mentioned.
To be honest, this is the first time I have come across this word. This question.
No. So they tried to. So they tried to tell me whether it's for the benefit. They mentioned that it's not so beneficial for the. It's not beneficial for the world. But I told them no, so it's not that way. Free trade agreement is coming into picture because some resources might be restricted to a particular region. So that's why I tried to give them a proper explanation, but I'm not very sure. I gave them an example that.
No, I agree with you. The free trade agreement is in fact helps the world over.
Yeah, I told them.
That's what
For example,
I believe.
Yeah, we need lithium-ion batteries to manufacture electric vehicles, and Chile is a major exporter. So we are going for a free trade agreement. In turn, we are helping the world by ensuring that reliance on petroleum and diesel, gasoline, etc. is reduced. So I gave them such an example, but somewhere down the line, I was not very satisfied, and I'm not sure what they felt. They also asked me some crimes against humanity, what constitutes crimes against humanity. I mentioned them, but I took the word genocide. There also they tried to wriggle me, okay, they tried to push me against the wall. I tried. I won't say that I came out of that successfully, but I tried. But the best point was when they started asking me about my job profile. And I'm very sure that they were not aware what this role is. So that gave me a really good platform to speak. I spoke a lot, this is what I do, what I can do. So I was asked twice. What did you learn? I told them, like, because I have been doing that, so I could give them a very good picture as to what I have been doing, what is required. And then they asked me this question that why are you coming to E.C.G.C? I told them that promotions are stagnating. So, okay, when will you get promoted to the next board? I told them 12 years. To the grade class 1 officer, it will take me 18 years. Okay, then they realized that why it's important for me to join E.C.G.C. So then they didn't bother me anymore. They asked me about the export stats. I mentioned that, which I read yesterday. And then they asked that, do you think this goal is practically like can it be reached? Is it reachable? I told them that if Piyush Goyal is mentioning something, if PVR Subramaniam, who is the Commerce Secretary, is mentioning something, then there must be some rationality to it. So that's all, that's what they asked.
Achha. So it took around 20 minutes.
20-25 minutes, yeah.
No, but there were no questions regarding E.C.G.C policies, E.C.G.C guarantees, nothing. Nothing. No. I think they have spent more time with you regarding Jamshedpur and Odisha.
Yeah, no, they didn't ask anything about Odisha. They asked about Jamshedpur.
Only Jamshedpur. Achha, good.
Yeah, they were trying to bully. They were planning to frame or put me in a tight spot with the Jamshedpur.
Achha, how many candidates were there today for the interview?
12 candidates were supposed to attend from a panel were selected for the interview, but only 8 turned up.
Out of 12, 8 only turned up. How many ladies were there out of 8?
None.
All are men only.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you compare yourself in terms of presentation with regard to other 7 people?
To be very honest, they were asked questions about MSME, budget, etc. They were asked questions related to those topics.
Achha.
But I felt my interview was more of related to trade, about my job profile, about Infosys, about exports. I found it very different from what I've heard from others.
Were you able to talk to people who came out of the interview hall?
Yeah, I spoke to them.
Achha, what are the questions they told you? Please tell me.
What is budget? What is MSME?
Budget?
Any news related to MSME?
Okay.
Then they were asked about the profile. Because I'm a production engineer also, I think I got some leeway there also. Because they told, okay, so you're a production engineer, then they didn't question me further. Okay. What happened? I'm not saying that they're not knowledgeable or something, but because sometimes what I had might not
unless you have a production engineer sitting there, he cannot question you. He is not having the computer before him to search like me to ask questions.
Yeah.
So that is the basic problem. For me, the advantage is you are not before me, and I have the entire world before me in the form of internet.
Exactly.
So now, what are the other questions asked to other candidates?
They were asking about exports, why E.C.G.C is important, what role does it play in the country. They were asked certain questions. Then they were asked what is the present scenario of the country, whether the farm waiver bills are beneficial. What's your take on that?
What? Which is beneficial?
Farm loan, there is a protest to it. So what is your take?
Achha, farm reforms, that one.
Yeah.
Farmers, achha. Yeah. Farmers loan, okay.
But these are some of the questions which they were asked.
Can you recollect some more? And
what about GST?
GST, okay. Then, was there anybody asked about bank guarantees, bank?
Yes, they were asked about NPAs and bad bank.
NPA in bad banks. Okay.
NPA in not in bad banks. NPA and bad bank.
Achha, the NPA one question, bad banks another.
Bad banks, yeah.
Super question.
But they were asked to bankers.
Bankers, those who are already working in banks.
Yeah.
Good. Then, any other question relating to bankers?
Yeah, that why you want to come to E.C.G.C. That was a very pertinent question.
In fact, there is a girl going from SBI to E.C.G.C. She had a mock interview today morning, but maybe you would have been inside the office, E.C.G.C. office. I was conducting a mock interview for her at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. So for her, I think she will get NPA, bad bank, but she can't manage because she is not an experienced person. She has just put in 5 month surveys. Yeah. Next, any other questions?
No, sir. These are the ones I remember.
Very good. Thank you so much. You have done your duty.
But sir, like one thing when they asked me about FTAs, etc., I was not satisfied. Like
No,
I got
FTA.
stunned.
Now, unfortunately, FTA is a thing about which I wasn't aware of. So I could not ask you.
But they were asking like they related it to E.C.G.C. They were mentioning whether we have some export credit rating agency in the world. ECS, they were mentioning something.
Oh,
So like these questions like they threw me off the guard. I won't say that I was very comfortable with those questions.
yeah, I think you would have missed about 2 or 3 questions out of the 12 or 13 questions. Doesn't matter. Always, in my experience, I have seen people who have been selected are people who have not answered 2 questions, 3 questions. That's what happened last time when some bank interview list came out. South Indian Bank and all that.
Okay.
It is not based on you are answering all the questions you are rewarded. It is based on the clarity, confidence, and the eagerness with which you answer. That determines your selection.
Yeah.
Your case,
that is true.
your case, eagerness is there, confidence is there, clarity is also there. So I think there should not be any reason why you should not be selected. But
Yeah, and I
if you are
mentioned them like
yeah, if
they
you
didn't
are
ask me. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
if
Please
you
go
are
ahead.
not selected, then it is God is willing you that way that you should be in this line. It's okay, fine. Nothing like that. But you have taken enough pains to prepare. Probably
Thank you, sir.
you are
But sir, you have also guided me. Like
yeah,
most of the times
I
when I have
guide yeah, I guided you
postponed
because
it.
you came. Yeah. And also you are the only candidate who has taken at least 4 or 5 times mock interviews and having confidence. I There were candidates who have taken 3 or 4 earlier. You are the candidate who has taken 5 times, and you took keen interest in improving your knowledge. That is good. Best
But sir, you
wishes.
will always there to guide me, like
Yeah,
what to do, what not to do. And there were times
yeah,
when I used to postpone, like some, but still you were like very accommodative of that fact.
yeah. It's okay. I am not that very busy, and it is okay for me to adjust to your needs also. I mean, candidates' needs to a large extent. Anyhow,
Thank you
I
very much, sir.
appreciate you. I will give you, if I give you less mark, 8.5. If I give you more, possibly 9. It depends on what they think in their mind. What was the dress you were wearing? Were you having a tie and all? No.
Yeah. I was like fully suited and booted.
Super. Then you may even get 9. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome, sir.
I
Bye, sir.
enjoyed talking to you, and this is going live, and it will be benefiting a lot of candidates also. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Welcome, sir. Welcome,
Bye.
sir.
Bye.
Please continue with your great journey of inspiring
Yeah,
students,
in fact,
guiding us, sir.
one candidate who has attended interview today, she was very keen that it should be live with video also. But unfortunately, I was not able to post the video because the system was not accepting it. Then I posted her voice only. She said it is only because through that videos I could know about your interviews. So I want others also to be benefited. So that is a good,
Definitely.
and you have also applied the same strategy. Best wishes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Bye
Bye, sir.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.